All right. Hi, everybody. Sal Capaccio here for a special live edition of Sal's House here on Sunday, Labor Day weekend. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend so far. It's not over, right? Had a lot of college football yesterday and a lot of stuff going on in Western New York, including Chicken Wing Fest today. Went down there, had a great chance to enjoy some chicken wings, judge the Chicken Wing Fest. Some people from all over the country, all over the world, bring chicken wings here to Buffalo to be judged, and they're amazing. It's great. And yes, I was wearing my Iron Mafia. There you go. Iron Mafia shirt. This is great. You guys know I'm an Iron Maiden fan, right? Here's Eddie. There you go. That is my guy, Del Reed of 26 Shirts. And you can go check that out if you I figured I'd throw that out there right now because I'm wearing it and somebody might ask me about it. So there you go. We will get to Dwayne Carter and his ACL tear, which is reported, but it looks like it's coming even from Dwayne Carter. He tweeted something about it. So we'll get to that in a little while. Wanted to bring you a special edition, a special Sal's House here to preview the season. And I figured tonight was a good night to do it. It's the last night of August. We roll into September, Labor Day tomorrow. And then, of course, the Bills take on the Baltimore Ravens Sunday. We are 1 week away. In fact, we're just literally less than exactly 1 week away from right now. It's 7:44 p.m. Game time is what? 8:20. So, yeah, we are just about 1 week away from the Bills and the Ravens. So I'll do my best to kind of look in the chat box with you guys tonight, to be honest with you, but it's just me and I'll do my best to look at that. But I will probably not be able to see a lot of what you're saying. So you might have to just kind of talk amongst each other. But if I get a chance, I'll answer some questions here. And I actually see one right here I want to get to because Buffalo Beetle says, my guy Sal, Herbal IQ is nice. Go Bills. All right. You're right. Herbal IQ. That's a great way to start. I want to thank my sponsors. Thank you so much. Every time we do Sal's House, it's great. Herbal IQ. Actually going to be doing a show there on Thursday, September 11th. Head over to Herbal IQ. It is a New York State licensed dispensary, 6300 Transit Road in Depew. And I'm going to be there September 11th before Thursday Night Football that night. I'm going to bring Sports City Pizza Pub by. They're going to be bringing pizza. And, of course, Sports City Pizza Pub, your best place to watch any game you want. You want wings, you want pizza, whatever you want. They got it. They got all the games on. They can have all the Thursday night games, college games on the weekend, NFL games. That's all happening at Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. They're going to come to Herbal IQ. They're going to be a part of the show. That's September 11th. Trainwreck Sports going to be there with me. We're going to be talking Buffalo Bills. So come on by, mark it down, September 11th. I think we're doing like 6:30 somewhere in there at Herbal IQ, 6300 Transit Road. And of course, want to thank TSE Buffalo, Total Sports Enterprises. They've been amazing with me and helping out with giveaways and all different kinds of things that we got going on at TSE Buffalo. They got signings, private signings. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be signing the Thursday, the week that the Bills are playing the Dolphins. Ryan Fitzpatrick is signing. TSE's got it. They got you covered. Head to tsebuffalo.com. Check out upcoming signings. You'll see exactly what you got to do to get something to Ryan Fitzpatrick to sign and be a part of that. And finally, my friends and all my everybody who's helping supporting me here at Fans of Buffalo and fansofbuffalo.com. Check this out. I want to show everybody what Fans of Buffalo's got going on. All right. There it is. Houston, Cleveland, Carolina, Atlanta, Miami, Pittsburgh, New York. Fansofbuffalo.com is where you go to make sure that you are a part of the action. They're going to have your game ticket, your flight to the game, transportation from the hotel to the game. They're going to have tailgating, everything going on. Fansofbuffalo.com. So make sure you check them out. Add myself here back to the stage. I gotta figure out how to do this. There we go. And then where are we with Sal's House? And here we go. There we go. All right, got it all up there. Okay, let's start off by Dwayne Carter. News comes down tonight from Jordan Schultz, NFL Insider, says Dwayne Carter tore his Achilles. I mean, out of the blue, out of nowhere. Someone asked me at Cell Sports, do you think this is why they signed Jordan Phillips? I would say no, because they didn't know. Last time we were out there, Wednesday, Thursday last week at practice, Dwayne Carter was there, folks. He was practicing. This must have happened at some point over this weekend that Dwayne Carter was injured. So for the Bills to bring in Jordan Phillips, does that mean now that he is going to be on the 53-man roster at some point? The Bills now will most likely be putting Dwayne Carter on injured reserve, and that will open up a roster spot. But does that mean that it's going to be Jordan Phillips coming up for the practice squad? Is that somebody else from another, part of the roster, another position they add? We'll see. Of course, what complicates matters here is Larry Ogunjobi is suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season. I am going to bring this up here, and you can see my screenshot of the defense here. I think this should be the defense here. Let me just bring this up here. There we go. Hopefully you could see all this. It's over my head. Sorry. Best I could do. Here's your defensive end edge position. Rousseau, Bosa, Epinesa, Solomon, Jackson. Hoyt is suspended. That's why he's in green. Ogunjobi suspended. Now, I'm going to have to take Deion Walker and put him on IR because that's what will happen along with Max Harrison as you see at corner. But let's just focus on the D-line. Rousseau, Bosa, Epinesa, Solomon, Jackson. Oliver Jones, Carter, Sanders, Walker. So Ogunjobi is going to be suspended. You'll probably want to elevate somebody or sign somebody to be another defensive tackle, but you don't have to. You can roll into the season with nine total defensive linemen. You can really go 8. The Bills, I just looked it up. The Bills go, yes, they rotate a lot on the D-line. What they really do is they rotate 4 guys at defensive tackle mostly. And if you take out one of those guys, it could have been Dwayne Carter. Maybe Dwayne Carter wouldn't even get a game jersey, to be quite honest. Could be TJ Sanders. But generally they rotate 4 guys at defensive tackle all game and 4 guys at defensive end, sometimes 5, depending on what the situation calls for. So, yes, it's a really big blow for their overall rotation and for Dwayne Carter, but they do have some depth there, especially after Larry Ogunjobi comes back. But until that happens, they don't have that luxury. They will have to bring somebody up. They will have to sign somebody, something like that. What would you guys like to see? I'm actually gonna, throw it out there. You can tell me what you'd like to see. Would you like to see now, Jordan Phillips be placed on the 53-man roster, or would you like to see, the Bills go out and just use that roster spot for another position, roll with what they have until they kind of figure it out, at defensive tackle a little bit later in the year? Make sure you put in, what you would do right there. All right. So that's defensive tackle. I think at Oliver, I said I would go over each position here. I really like the way TJ Sanders and Deion Walker have looked throughout the preseason. And I do think they're going to be, good young defensive tackles for this team going forward. I think it's a lot to ask, though, to go against Lamar Jackson in week 1 and get right in there and have to take up the slack now for Dwayne Carter, who, yes, he's only in his second year anyway. But for those guys, that's a lot to ask. But they're going to have to be thrown in the fire. They're going to have to play right away, and they're going to have to play well right away. When you look at the other side, defensive end, same thing with Landon Jackson. As of right now, I would say maybe Landon Jackson doesn't get a game jersey. You're probably rolling with Rousseau, Bosa, Epinesa, and Solomon as your 4 defensive ends trying to get after Lamar Jackson week 1 and then Justin Fields week 2 and 2-0 week 3, right? I mean, you project out a few weeks here. I think you're probably looking at those guys as your top 4, barring injury. I really, really love what I saw from Michael Hoyt throughout the preseason, but he's not going to be available. He's out 6 games, obviously, due to the suspension, but I really love what I've seen from Michael Hoyt so far. I think when Michael Hoyt comes back, he just gives the Bills so much more versatility and to be able to do some things up front on the defensive line and even at linebacker, because he can play off the ball, he can play on the ball. And I just think he's going to be such a big part of what they do. And we saw a glimpse of that during the preseason. So Michael Hoyt is a guy that I kind of can't wait to see him on the field, but you have to wait to get there because it's not going to be till week 8. The Bills have, and I'll throw this up too. Here's the schedule. Let's remember the schedule here. The Bills have 6 games. He's suspended through that Atlanta game. Then they have a bye week, as you see, and then Carolina in week 8. So we're not going to see Larry Ogunjobi or Michael Hoyt until at least week 8. And I would guess during week 8, they'll be playing because the Bills have 6 games where they're suspended and then a bye week in week 7. So that's how that looks. All right, let's take a look at another group here on the defensive side. That's actually the offense. Let me go back to the defense here. Okay, linebacker. Linebackers have been kind of set for me for a while. Now, if you would have told me back in May, you asked me if Shaq Thompson was going to make the team, I'd be like, I don't know. They signed him to be a depth piece, maybe a practice squad guy, good vet to have around. Now we all know Bale Inspector got hurt. He was actually not performing too badly in preseason, but that's been the issue. So they moved on from him. To me, Joe Andreessen was always going to be the backup middle linebacker on this team. Always. Even with Bale Inspector healthy. It's Bernard, it's Milano, it's Dorian Williams, it's Joe Andreessen. Now, how do they fit? Terrell Bernard's your Mike linebacker, your middle linebacker. Matt Milano's your starting weak side linebacker. The Bills use only 2 linebackers. That's because they use a third. The third guy there is Taron Johnson, who's a nickelback. But we'll talk about that in a second because I think against the Ravens, it could look a little bit different at times. The Bills use Taron Johnson as your nickelback, 2 linebackers. They use Terrell Bernard as the Mike, middle linebacker, Matt Milano as the Will, weak side linebacker. Strong side is generally side of the tight end. Weak side's away from the tight end. It's changed over the years in football, but that's where Matt Milano plays. Weak side linebacker is your athletic guy who moves all over the field. It's essentially not as much just going straight forward all the time. All right, that being said, Matt Milano's backup is Dorian Williams. We know that. He had a really nice year last year filling in for Matt Milano, led the team in tackles. Terrell Bernard's backup is Joe Andreessen. I've always felt Joe was going to be the backup middle linebacker. Now, we could have the debate on that. People wanted the team to draft Sean Dolak. That's all well and good. But Joe Andreessen's the guy on the team. And Joe Andreessen was always, to me, moving towards that spot. Shaq Thompson comes in. I felt, good veteran guy to have in the room. We'll see. Really, from what I've seen in preseason and preseason games or training camp, I think Shaq Thompson not only, I figured he'd make the team. I had him on my projected 53. I think he has a role on this team. I think he has a role week one. I think the Bills will play some base defense week one, just going by history, what they do against the Baltimore Ravens. And I think Shaq Thompson's going to be on the field. He's going to be basically, maybe a strong side linebacker next to Milano and Bernard. The issue with that is if you put a third linebacker on the field, you essentially have to take Taron Johnson off the field. You're not going with one less corner on the outside. You're not going with one less safety. You could do that, but you're essentially taking Taron Johnson off the field. You could take a defensive lineman off the field. That's fine too, but that's dime. What I'm talking about is a base defense, all right? A base defense would be 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. That takes Taron off the field. That puts Shaq Thompson on. I think the Bills might want to attack the Ravens that way, and I think Shaq Thompson is that guy they're going to use right there. Looking at some of the comments, Chris says, I have a feeling Milano's going to have a really dominant season. He has been fantastic this year. But, of course, we know – bring Kelso back, someone said. Mark Kelso. But we also know that Milano's had some injuries over his last few years. I will tell you, if he stays healthy, I agree. I think he could have a fantastic season. So we'll try and see. We'll see. And you hope that Matt Milano can stay healthy and Terrell Bernard. They're both a little bit undersized. But I do think that Shaq Thompson is on the field in some capacity against the Ravens because the Bills have played 3 linebackers against the Ravens before. And to me, that would make the most sense for him. All right, let's go back to the defense and let's look at the cornerbacks. On the outside, Christian Benford and Tre'Davious White. Folks, we don't know the issue, the status of Tre'Davious White. I'm sorry. I wish I had more information. The Bills are keeping it very close to the vest, very tight-lipped on Tre'Davious White, what his injury is, what his timeline is. I will tell you, he was not at practice when we went out there on Wednesday last week or Thursday, whichever it was. My days run together, but either way, he wasn't there. But I did see him in the field house with talking with a couple of coaches or trainers afterwards, but he wasn't doing anything. Christian Benford also didn't practice, but he actually was on the field with trainers doing some things. So we'll see where it trends. A lot of this is going to hinge on what we see and who we see on the field when the team goes back out there on Wednesday this coming week, and we will get an official injury report. Now, this is really interesting. If Tre'Davious White can't go, now even if he can, who is behind him at outside corner? It's Jamarcus Ingram and it's Dorian Strong. That's it. The Bills basically have 4 outside corners on their roster right now, on their active roster. Christian Benford, Tre'Davious White, Jamarcus Ingram, and Dorian Strong. My buddy Matt Bove, my co-host of It's Always Game Day in Buffalo, disagrees with me about who he would roll with if the team has to, or who they would roll with if the team goes to, it doesn't have Tre'Davious White. He says Dorian Strong. I say Jamarcus Ingram. Now, I would say, though, I would give space to maybe they would roll with Strong because Ingram does so much for them, meaning he can play dime safety. He can play nickel corner. He's available in a pinch. He plays a lot of special teams. So will Strong, obviously. But I do think it's interesting in how they would roll that way. Let's just hope Tre'Davious White is healthy and he's able to play. But we just don't know the situation there. Max Harrison's going to miss the first 4 games of the year. He can't even practice until after those 4 weeks are up. And then he'll start practicing. We'll see where it goes from there. And obviously, the 2 nickel corners here, I'll throw it back up here. You got Taron Johnson, you got Cam Lewis, and Cam can play safety, but I'm listing him here as a nickel corner, the backup to Taron Johnson. Brandon Beane has said he believes that Cam Lewis is the best backup nickel corner in the league. That's how much they feel about him. And he had to fill in. Remember last year, actually, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the game last year, the opener against the Arizona Cardinals, Taron Johnson got hurt pretty early on. So Cam Lewis had to come in and play for him, and he was on the field a lot. So he's just a guy that's been there. Funny that, Cam, you think about it, he's been here 7 years now, I think it is, but he does so much for them. All right. Team hasn't even started the season hasn't started yet. Talk about the strength and conditioning coach. Hey, I'm with you, Scott, that, I think there's been a few too many of these soft tissue injuries, but I think a lot has changed in football and the way these guys come back after, being off for a long time and then coming back to football and having to go right back into it. And I would have to look at a lot of things. I don't know if I'd look at the coach himself, but maybe the coach has to look at how things go on. But I think it's a little too early for that to say definitively. I don't know. What are you going to do about an Achilles tear? That happens. I mean, it happened a lot in basketball this year, right? And there's been a kind of a rash of Achilles injuries throughout sports, I think, over the last several months. All right. Tim says, how many teams have a backup nickel corner? Every one of them. Every team has a backup nickel corner. And just like the Bills, most backup nickel corners can play other positions. Some can't. Some just play nickel. Cam Lewis plays safety and he plays nickel corner. He really can't play outside corner, but in a pinch, they would put him there. He also plays a lot of special teams. But to answer your question, Tim, every team has a backup nickel corner. Could you imagine a team losing their starting nickel corner a series into the game and going, we have nobody can play? Like, you have to have somebody who could be the backup there. Okay. Let's get to the safety position. I know a lot of you want to talk about that because of the situation with Cole Bishop. And what I mean by the situation is what you've seen from him, what you haven't seen from him. And Cole Bishop is going to be the starter for this team. We know that, next to Taylor Rapp. I share concerns with you from a few weeks ago. I will also tell you, I think the last couple of weeks, the reps he's got, maybe the last week and a half or so, really, I think in the Tampa game, he started to look more aggressive, more confident. I think that was really good for him to get that week of reps in, to get that game in. He is going to be the starter. Now, it might not go great. It might go fantastic. We have no idea. It's something that people are going to be watching for, especially against a team, the Baltimore Ravens, that can throw over the top of you sometimes. They did that against the Bills in the playoffs last year. What I'd really like to see, I think what we'd all like to see, is Jordan Hancock get healthier. Jordan Hancock, if he is healthy, maybe at some point he could push for that position with Cole Bishop. At this point, I'm not sure, though. He is a rookie. And if you listen to anything Bobby Babich says, Bobby Babich talks all the time and has talked all the time about Jordan Hancock being a rookie and needing to button up on the details, right? So I want to see him get healthy. I want to see him push, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that, especially with the injury. Look what it did to Cole last year and how long he was out. Now, Jordan Hancock's been missing time. He's got to play catch up as well. So you're going to the season with Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop. And I know that scares a lot of you, but you just have to see it play out. You can take a deep breath. You can see how it plays out. Maybe we're sitting here on Monday morning and I'm going, yeah, you're right. I mean, it just didn't work. Or maybe we're going, you know what? This might be okay. And then, of course, there's Damar Hamlin, and he's the fourth safety to me right now, but maybe even the third right now with Jordan Hancock out. You do have Cam Lewis who can play there. And if Damar has to play, sure, there's going to be times where you're like, you wish you had something more back there. He also didn't play terribly last year. I know at times he got beat, no doubt. He's not an incredibly athletic safety who's going to make plays on the ball. But I thought that he was at least giving you a floor last year, that you knew you had a guy back there that understood what to do and could give you a baseline play. But the reason why he's not starter this year, you need more there. And that's what the team is hoping for Cole Bishop. Give me a second to drink. You talk so much, you got to have a little bit to wet your palate a little bit there. Thank you so much. All right, we'll get to the offense here in just a second. But before I do, you see all those sponsors right up top? Check them all out. Fansofbuffalo.com. All of your Buffalo sports travel package needs. They're getting you to a game on a flight, chartered flight, to the game with a ticket, tailgate going on. Fansofbuffalo.com. All these great cities. And don't worry, all these cities are close to Buffalo this year, Eastern time zones, except one in Houston, which is a Central time zone night game. So you don't even have to stray too far and have a great time. Fansofbuffalo.com. Herbal IQ. We're going to be at Herbal IQ, 6300 Transit Road in Depew. I'm going to be there September 11th, Thursday night. We're doing a Thursday night football preview show here on Sal's house. Sports City Pizza Pub is going to be there. Trainwreck, Maniac, my guy, they're coming by. We're going to have a good time. Make sure you check them out. Herbal IQ, a New York State licensed dispensary. Fantastic showroom. Go check them out, 6300 Transit Road in Depew. Speaking of Sports City Pizza Pub, they're having their golf tournament September 22nd. Now, look, I actually am going to be giving away a foursome to this golf outing because I can't play. I got to be on the radio that day. It's Monday, September 22nd, right after the Bills play the Miami Dolphins on Thursday night the previous week. So stay tuned at Sal Sports. I'll be letting you know how I give away a foursome to Sports City's Golf Classic. And you know what it's going to be? Somebody who's subscribing to me. Make sure you're subscribing to me on Twitter. Don't just follow. Make sure you're subscribing. It's $5 a month. If you don't like it, no hard feelings. You can go away. But I share extra video, extra content. I put out extra thoughts on Twitter. I'm not going to be breaking news there. That's for everybody, but check me out on Twitter. Subscribe. Go to my profile, hit the subscribe button, $5 a month. You'll be happy that you did. And that's where I'll be making sure I give away the Sports City Pizza Pub foursome for their golf classic. And finally, Total Sports Entertainment, TSEBuffalo.com. Cannot thank them enough for all of their generosity, giving away things, helping me give away things here at Sal's House and beyond. TSEBuffalo.com. Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be signing next month. You can be a part of that. Get stuff signed from Fitz. Make sure you go and check that out. TSEBuffalo.com. Upcoming signings. Let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills offense and what happened after the final roster was announced. Boy, what a battle for starting quarterback. I'm just kidding, of course, but battle for backup quarterback, right behind Josh Allen. They go with Mitch Trubisky, and then it's Shane Buechele who gets the third job, not Mike White. And a lot of people said that they thought that Shane Buechele won that because of how he played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that final preseason game. I don't necessarily disagree. It might have just been because of that. Mike White, he's looking for work right now. If the Bills have something happen to one of their quarterbacks, I guarantee you Mike White is their first phone call if he's not working for another team. Brandon Beane basically said that. They'd love to have him back. They just don't have room on the practice squad for 2 quarterbacks. They don't have room overall for 4 quarterbacks. So Mitch Trubisky is your backup, and Shane Buechele is your practice squad quarterback. 3 running backs on the roster, the exact same 3 as last year. 1 fullback, the exact same. Of course, it's James Cook. It's Ty Johnson. It's Ray Davis. You can parse any way you want, Davis or Johnson. I think Davis is the main backup. If something were to happen to Cook, I think Davis is on the field more often, but I think Ty Johnson has a huge role in this team, especially on third down. Josh Allen called him the best third down back in the NFL, and I think Ty Johnson is a really fantastic player on that down for them for all they need. Now, not only catching passes out of the backfield, but of course, as a willing and very good pass blocker for the Buffalo Bills. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. How is a GM supposed to predict that a player is going to get hurt? That's absurd. Dwayne Carr. Okay, I'll let you guys talk. Thank you. You're doing a great job in the chat box. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I can't monitor all the stuff going on tonight. It's just me here. You're doing a great job in the chat box with each other and talking with each other, and I appreciate that. Let's just keep it civil. Let's keep it respectful. That's all I ask in the chat box. Thank you so much for coming aboard. We got 2,500 live viewers here on X, and YouTube at Cell Sports, X everywhere. Thank you so much. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following at Cell Sports. Subscribe. I promise you, on X, you won't be disappointed. All right, let's go back to the offense, and I got to tell you guys about the other cool thing we got coming up here real soon. Wide receiver. This is the only spot in the entire Buffalo Bills roster, the entire offensive roster, the entire offensive roster that had any significant changes from last year. Think about it. Everything at quarterback's the same. Everything at running back's the same. Everything at fullback's the same. Everything at O-line is the same. Everything at tight end is the same except for one addition. And here at wide receiver, everything except for 2 guys in, 2 guys out. Out are Mac Hollins and Amari Cooper. In are Joshua Palmer and Elijah Moore. And the addition of Tyrell Shavers. Congratulations to Tyrell Shavers. Big fan favorite. I know a lot of you love him. The catch he made against Tampa kind of sealed it for him to get on the 53. Love it for him. You know, I joke with Tyrell, and I'll joke with you. Got to be the number, right? I was number 80 for good old Cleveland Hill High School here. All right. I love number 80. Jerry Butler was my guy when I was in high school. I wore 80 because of Jerry Butler. I loved him. All the great receivers wore number 80. Jerry Rice, of course, Steve Largent. The list goes on. And I love Jerry Butler. So that's why I wore number 80. I hate the fact that nobody can wear 80 anymore. Well, they can, but they don't. They wear the single digits. But here comes Tyrell Shavers wearing number 80. And of course, Eric Moulds, right? Let me ask you guys, do you like, there was a question I was going to ask about that with wide receiver in the chat box, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh, here's a question I got. Eric Moulds. Yep. Wore number 80. That's right. I love number 80. Anyway, so I joked with Tyrell and said, it's got to be the number, right? And I asked him if he knows who Jerry Butler is, and he didn't. I said, you got to look him up. Like, Jerry Butler was my guy. That's why I wore 80. You're wearing 80. And, you know, there's a lot of great receivers here that wore 80, Butler and Moulds. Now, you know, you obviously have a spot on the 53, and it's just a great guy. But I want to talk about the 2 additions with the 2 guys that left. Here's the question for you in the chat box. All right. Are the Bills better with Hollins/Cooper or better with, who would it be? Palmer/Moore? Would you just put Hollins Cooper or put Palmer more, or put same. I'm curious, like where you think they are with just those two. I'm not going to add Tyrell Shavers in here. He's an addition on the back end. He's a special teams guy. I'm just wondering for the two guys that went out and two guys that went in, where do you think that they're better? Palmer and Moore. Here we go. Maddox says, we got one right here. Palmer and Moore bring more diversity, but you can't bring back max energy. Yeah, I mean, that's right. To be determined. Palmer more, but time will tell, says Kat. Thank you so much. Not fair because no record for Palmer more. Yeah, but no, that's the whole point, Matt. That's the whole point. You got to predict, right? I'm saying, what do you think right now? There's a lot of skill set redundancy at the wide receiver position. Hey, you could very well be. And I think that's why Tyrell Shavers fits into this. We got Tano coming in. Oh, wait, we got one here. I understand wait, hold on. I hit the wrong one. Here's Tano, the Texan, Palmer and Moore, but we need to see them in action. No doubt about that. Scott says going to miss Hollins blocking more than anything. I think that's a big piece of it. No doubt about it. We got John, I think, better with Palmer and Moore. It is interesting, right? That's it. On the entire offensive side, you got those two guys out, two guys in, and then you add Tyrell Shavers. Now, it is going to help too at tight end. They did add Jackson Hawes. Listen, I agree with a lot of you that what Zach Davidson did, the punt, how he can catch, it would have been nice to get him back in the practice squad. I think the issue with Zach Davidson is he just really can't block very well. Zach Davidson is a pass-catching tight end. He's an athlete. He's not a very good inline blocker. And I think they just wanted another tight end on the roster, and they go with Latu, who can be more of a blocker when needed. Jackson Hawes is going to be a physical blocking tight end. He's on the team. You also have to remember, maybe, just maybe, Zach Davidson said, you know what? I've been with the Bills for 3 years now, which he has. Haven't been able to crack the 53. I'd like to go somewhere else and get an opportunity. Maybe he chose that. Not really sure. I get it on Zach Davidson, but the tight end room is Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Jackson Hawes, and they need Dalton Kincaid to be better than last year. They need Josh Allen to be able to hit and find Dalton Kincaid. So just checking out a couple of texts here and tweets. All right. So thank you. My wife, Yana, she came in. I got to tell you guys a great story about my wife. She has a fantasy team. She's watching right now. So everybody say hi, Yana, Jana. Hi, Yana, J-A. I'm going to do it right now. Hi. She's watching right now because she's in Florida and she said it's looking and sounding good. So my wife, Yana, she is in a fantasy league and she said she had to come up with a team name. So she asked ChatGPT to come up with a team name. And it was amazing. ChatGPT came up with Yana said knock you out. I'm like, that is amazing. So everybody needs to do that for their own name. So go to ChatGPT and say, come up with a fantasy football team name using my first name of Matt or Scott or Tara or whatever it is. All right. There you go. So that's what you have to, because it was cool. And anyway, her team name is Yana said knock you out. And that's pretty cool. And I like that. So anyway, hi to my wife who's watching right now down in Florida visiting her mom. Okay. Let's get to the offensive line. Before I do that though, folks, with 2,700 viewers, I want to tell you here, thank you so much for coming aboard. I know you've been hearing the ads, but I'm here to tell you, you got to go check out this cruise we're doing next May, the Buffalo Football Legends Cruise. If you haven't heard about it, oh my gosh, I am going to be on this cruise as like the cruise director doing the Bill stuff, the Buffalo football people. I'll be kind of on the mic and, called like the cruise director. I'm not really the cruise director, but for this particular part I am. Thurman Thomas is coming. Steve Tasker is coming. Don Beebe is coming. Scott Norwood is coming. Butch Roll is coming. Del Reed of 26 Shirts is coming. Okay. We're going to have a fantastic time. While we're on this boat, while we're on this cruise, we're going to celebrate Thurman Thomas's 60th birthday together, all on this cruise as a big party. It's going to be amazing. While we're there, there's going to be theme nights, like a game show night with the players, a dance party night. Then there's going to be meet and greets with the players. Of course, memorabilia on board for you to get signed, private dinners that you can be a part of with the players and me. It's going to be amazing. All right. Celebrity Beyond is the cruise line. Go check out this boat, Celebrity Beyond. It's amazing. And we're going to talk more about it. But if you book, go to WGR550.com. We're leaving out of Miami, May 10th next year, leaving out of Miami, going down to the British Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, all these great stops, Phillipsburg, Puerto Plata. It's going to be incredible. Check it out, WGR550.com. And you are missing out if you don't come on this thing. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a fantastic trip. Yes, it's for 7 days. We're leaving on Mother's Day, going to have a Mother's Day party as we sail away from Miami, May 10th through 17th. Great time to get away just before the weather really starts to turn here. You come back and maybe the weather has turned. So check it out, WGR550.com. It's courtesy of Sojourn Travel Advisors. And we're going to have Nick, who owns Sojourn, on with me and Matt Bove Wednesday at the BFLO store. We're at the BFLO store Wednesday on Transit. Make sure you come by. Matt and I are going to be there, and Nick from Sojourn Travel is going to be there as well. So check it out, WGR550.com. The Buffalo Football Legends Cruise. You will not want to miss it. O-line. The Bills have a good O-line. I've never seen. It's the first time, and I've been saying this for months. I've asked people if they've ever seen. I was on Mark Schler's podcast. I said, have you ever seen this? He said, no. I said, have you ever seen 10 offensive linemen all returning on a team? The top 10? No. Now, here's what happened, though. Tylan Grable suffered a concussion, so he went on IR. Cedric Van Pran-Granger, who's been missing all of camp, actually is coming back. They put him on the active roster. He didn't do anything up until now. He's going to start doing that. So the only switch from the preseason was that. Otherwise, every single one of these guys, except adding Chase Lunt. Chase Lunt as a draft pick. Deion Dawkins at left tackle. Spencer Brown at right tackle. Osiris Torrance at right guard. David Edwards at left guard. Connor McGovern at center. Alec Anderson is your backup center and guard. Ryan Vandermark is your swing tackle. Chase Lunt can kind of do a little bit of everything. We'll see where he actually fits. And then Cedric Van Pran-Granger is a main backup center. This is your O-line, and it's a good O-line, and it's got a very good coach in Aaron Cromer. And I really like what the Bills have in their offensive line. The biggest key about the Bills' offensive line is what the Bills want to do with how they protect Josh Allen. That's really what this is all about. People can talk about being conservative, running the ball. The Bills' philosophy is protect your franchise quarterback. Make sure he doesn't have to do everything, taking all these hits and standing back there. And if you can run the ball and you can protect him with a good old line, that's how you get to MVP Josh, right? And that's what they did. And that is their philosophy, and they built it. They've done a good job building it. And I think they have a very, very good offensive line with a very good offensive line coach. 10 guys have all come back this year. Who plays center if McGovern has come out of a game? I think the answer to that question, Chudley, would be right now, Alec Anderson. I think if Cedric Van Pran-Granger gets back healthy enough in the next few weeks, it could be him. But I think Alec Anderson is your guy right now. He's really the only other guy that you'd have on the roster that could do that. And I don't even know what guys are going to get game jerseys right now because they'll probably only dress 8, but yet they have 9 on the roster. Van Pran probably doesn't get a jersey week 1 because he's coming back from being on the PUP list. So to answer your question, I'd say Alec Anderson. All right. Here we go. Sal, I saw you at Tavern on the Tracks. Where are you going to visit? You know what? I'm going to be at, I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm going to be. It is called, hold on, at Charlotte, I believe. I'm going to go see my guy, Christian Kramer, perform in Charlotte. And I fly in with the Bills. So I'm on the team charter. So I'm not going to be there until a little bit later. All right. But when I do get there, it's called Must Be Nice. Must Be Nice is the place in Charlotte. My guy, Christian Kramer, is going to be performing there, and I'll be there in Charlotte. But that's a ways away. But thank you for asking. Really appreciate that. Okay, let's take a look. One more here. I forgot to, talk about. We should do that here. The specialists. Okay, there we go. Tyler Bass, of course, is the kicker. The Bills did work out some kickers, some veteran kickers this week, and we don't know exactly what the reasoning was, other than I would say to be sure, right? If something happens to Tyler Bass, you have a guy on the ready, you've worked him out, you can turn to him. Brad Robbins is the punter. Reed Ferguson is the long snapper. Those are set right now. Now, if Brad Robbins just has a terrible start to the year, could I see them bringing a punter? Yes. Tyler Bass, maybe they would bring somebody in for now and see how it goes, but they're going to play the long game with Tyler Bass. Like, that's not just something they're cutting bait with if he has a bad start. You hope that he's healthy enough. And I think the one really that we focus on is Brandon Codrington. You all know me. I'm kind of a Brandon Codrington truther. I've been telling you since day one, Brandon Codrington was still going to be the punt returner on this team, and he is the punt returner on this team. They just never had anyone to overtake him. They tried Laviska Shenault on kick returns, never really on punt returns. They did have KJ Hamler. They do have Elijah Moore, but nobody that they really felt would take over that duty. And no one that I saw through camp and preseason that did take over that duty and showed they were better than Brandon Codrington. So he gets the spot. And I understand he's not going to help you much on defense. I get it. He's just a return man. That's what he is. But I think he's a good return man. I think he was top 4 or 5 in the league last year in punt return yards and did well in kickoff returns as well. So kickoff returns will be him and probably Ray Davis or Ty Johnson. So that's where the specialists stand at this point. Okay, Thank you very much, everybody who's coming in the chat box. I appreciate that. What do we got? Lingering question here. John says when Grable comes back, they'll probably make room for Lunt on the practice squad. Here's the problem, John. It's a great point, but I don't know if I don't think Chase Lunt goes to the practice squad at all this year, because in order to do that, they'd have to waive him and any team can claim him. And I think the reason why he's even on the 53 is they don't want to lose the guy. They like him. He's developing. And all of a sudden you waive him to get into the practice squad. Somebody picks him up. Bam, that's it. You don't get him back. And I think they're a little bit worried about that. That's why. Okay. Let's see who else. What else? Somebody asked a question here. And top 5 O-line. That is a top 5 O-line. You got it. The continuity of this unit separates them from other organizations. Thank you, Scott. I agree with that. Very good. Do we see 6 lineman formation, or will that be mostly Hawes? Great question, Scott. That's going to be Jackson Hawes. I can't imagine the Bills using anybody but Jackson Hawes now. Maybe in a pinch, you can bring in Jackson Hawes to line up a little bit in the backfield offset as an eligible, and then you bring in another offensive lineman. But the reason why you draft Jackson Hawes is you use him as that extra lineman, because now you have an eligible number. He can go out for a pass as well. So I think that's why you draft and you use Jackson Hawes. Okay. We touch on everything? I think we did. What do we got going on this week? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, looks and sounds good. I like how you bring in the comments on the screen. Thank you very much. I'm trying my best here. I'm appreciating that. And thank you all. But here, I need to set up the week for you. Let me tell you about the Bills this week and what's going on. Nothing tomorrow, which is Monday, or Tuesday for the media, for practice, anything like that. Wednesday, we are hearing from Sean McDermott. It is what we call media day, because there's more media than usual on Wednesday than any other day. We're going to be out in the practice field, and then we will get an official injury report and designation for the first time this year. Find out about Tre'Davious White or anybody else on the Bills and the Ravens side, for that matter. We're going to be eyeing what's going on with the Ravens with Isaiah Likely and some other players. So that's something to monitor as well. That's Wednesday. Thursday's a normal practice, injury report. Friday, lighter practice, injury designations for the week come out. Saturday, they can elevate players from the practice squad by 4 p.m. Sunday night football. Sunday, week 1. Now, leading up to that, Matt Bove and I, hope all of you can make it, at the BFLO store on Transit Town. We'll be there Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Come on by, say hi. We'll also be broadcasting right here on the stream, wherever you're watching. All right, so we'll be live. You can watch, you can comment just like now, or you can come by, you can say hi to us, check out all the great specials at the BFLO store. They're going to have fantastic sales going on while we're there this Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Come on by, say hi, take a picture. We'll talk football, all of that. We're going to have Nick Ryberg there of Sojourn Travel. Nick, of course, he is the one that's helping us put together this big Buffalo Football Legends cruise. You got to go check it out. WGR550.com is where you go. There's a spot right there. Check out the Buffalo Football Legends cruise. Thurman Thomas, Steve Tasker, Don Beebe, Scott Norwood, Butch Roll, Del Rita 26 shirts, me. I'm going to be directing all the different things going on the cruise. I love it. Going to have a fantastic time. Hopefully we're celebrating a big, by then, big parade in Buffalo several months later. We're going to be having so much going on that boat. It's amazing, including celebrating Thurman Thomas's 60th birthday on the trip. So check that out. That is at WGR550.com. You have to get in by September 7th to save money. You can book after that, but you're not going to save as much. You're going to save several $100s by booking by this Sunday, September 7th. So check that out. And of course, thank you so much to all my sponsors right up top. Check all them out. Fansofbuffalo.com for all your Buffalo travel package needs. Going to a game, ticket to the game, getting on a bus, getting on a plane, chartered flight there. Fansofbuffalo.com. Herbal IQ, I'll be there September 11th around 6:30 p.m. doing a big show there for a Thursday night watch party preview show. We'll be over there, 6300 Transit Road in Depew, a New York State licensed dispensary. Sports City Pizza Pub's going to be bringing pizza by there. Sports City's where you go, 1407 Niagara Street for all the great pizza, wings, watching all the games on your television, on their television, the patio outside. They get the pups on the patio. It's going to be a fantastic time all season long at Sports City. And of course, all my friends at TSC, TSCbuffalo.com. Here's what I waited till the end to do. Are you ready? Okay. If you are a subscriber, and only subscribers, okay? Only subscribers. This is why you need to be subscribing to me. You should be subscribing to me. Go to my Twitter feed. Hit subscribe. Every month I'm doing a giveaway. This month, what do we got here? Hold on. I got it. Here it is. I'm giving this away right now. Signed Greg Rousseau mini helmet. I'm giving it away right now to only a subscriber, but you got to be subscribing. Every month, I'm giving something away just to subscribers. I got this. I'm going to do this live. Here's all my subscribers, okay? I got subscribers here. I'll be scrolling, all right? Be scrolling down, and I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop on a name. This is the subscriber that wins the Greg Rousseau mini helmet. And hold on, stop. Okay, here we go. We got Chris with a whole bunch of numbers. 74814727. Chris, thank you, Chris. There you go, Chris. You're the winner. You're the winner. You subscribe to me. You get this Greg Rousseau mini helmet. I'm going to tweet you. You got to be subscribed to me. Every month, we're giving away something courtesy of TSC. Usually a mini helmet, could be a jersey, anything. Make sure you're subscribed to me. There you go. Chris, you are the winner. All right. I'll be contacting you. Thanks a lot, everybody. Let's have a great week. Okay. On to the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday night. It is here. Football, week 1, the NFL, and the Buffalo Bills.